Okay, this is Brian Giles with Brian Giles MTG. And we are doing, I believe this is now video 3 of the Unfinity card spoilers. And we're going to start this off with Nearby Planet. It's a land with Rangeling. This card is every land type, including plains, island, swamp, mountain, forest, desert, gate, layer, locust, and all those Urza ones. Nearby planet enters the battlefield tapped. When nearby planet enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless you pay 1 colorless mana. And Rangeling, it's just a trope on the Changeling and stuff like that. But it considers itself every land type. But it has the acorn symbol at the bottom, so it's not playable in normal standard games unless your play group allows it, and it's not tournament legal. So please excuse the yawning. So that's interesting. So next up is Germain, Pride of the Circus. 2 colorless mana, excuse me, 2 green mana for a 2/3 legendary cat performer. 1 green mana, tap it, put 2+1/+1 counters on target creature with 4 or more legs. 2 green and 1 colors, tap it. Until end of turn, all creatures able to block target creature with 4 or more legs do so. So it cares about creatures with 4 or more legs. So that's interesting. So next up is Meet and Greet Sissy. Troping on Sissy of the Weatherlight. 1 red, 1 green for a 1/1 legendary elf performer. Whenever you cast a spell, choose 1. Flavor, Meet and Greet Sissy gets +1/+1 till end of turn for each line of flavor text that spell has. Or History. Create a treasure token if that spell doesn't share an expansion symbol with a permanent you control or a card in your graveyard. So expansion symbols matters, and flavor text, which is text that we talked about that a little bit in the text spoilers about how that matters. So flavor text matters. Next up is another quirky planeswalker in Comet Stellar Pup. 1 red, 1 white, and 2 colors for a 5 loyalty legendary planeswalker Comet, which has an ability, a loyalty ability of 0. Roll a 6-sided die. For a 1 or a 2, add +2 loyalty and create 2 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens. They gain haste until end of turn. Squirrel! If you roll a 3, you get a -3 loyalty and return a card with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to your hand. Interesting. Roll a 4 or 5. Comet Stellar Pup deals damage equal to the number of loyalty counters on him to a creature or player, then subtract 2 loyalty counters. So -2 loyalty. And if you roll a 6, you get +1 loyalty, and you may activate Comet Stellar Pup's loyalty ability 2 more times this turn. And it has the regular holofoil stamp on the bottom, so you can play this in a regular deck. Now, a lot of people don't like dice rolling, but in a deck, like an AFR deck, Adventures in Forgotten Realm, when you're rolling dice already, this could be an absolutely banger of a card. You could also have it deal all sorts of silliness with a squirrel deck, because he creates squirrel tokens. So I'm going to say this is going to be a highly sought after and possibly a great value-wise planeswalker that people are going to want from this set. So keep your eye on this one. Next up is another attraction in concession stand. Artifact attraction with good results of 2 and 6. And if you get that, you create a food token, which is an artifact with 2 colorless mana. Tap it, sacrifice this artifact, you gain 3 life. Next up is an artifact attraction called the Superlatorium, with good results of 2, 3, and 6. Its visit is opponent chooses the fastest, the scariest, or the weakest. You choose a creature, and then ask a person outside the game to choose the creature that best fits the chosen criteria. If they choose the same creature as you chose, claim the prize. And the prize is create 2 1/1 red balloon creature tokens with flying, then sacrifice the Superlatorium and open an attraction. Next up is another attraction in Hall of Mirrors with good results of 2 and 6. Your visit is choose target creature you control. Each other creature you control becomes a copy of that creature until end of turn, except it isn't legendary if the chosen creature is legendary. And you can play that in your regular decks, which is something akin to the mirror box. And so again, that's something that might be, that people might want to play in their deck. Next up is Myra the Magnificent. Now, Myra the Magnificent is, in this particular set, the leader, the headmistress of the Space Carnival Circus. So Myra the Magnificent is 1 blue, 1 red, 2 colors for a 2/4 legendary human performer. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell from your hand, open an attraction. And for X mana, tap it, exile target instant or sorcery card with mana value X from your graveyard. Choose an attraction you control that doesn't have a midway counter on it. Put a midway counter on it. Whenever you visit that attraction, copy an exiled card. You may cast a copy without paying its mana cost. So the midway counters are the result counters that you see on the side of your attraction cards. Next up, and finally, again, I will double check. Double check. Okay, we got a couple more, so here we go. Okay, so we got Vortos, Steward of Myth. 1 red, 1 colorless for a 1/3 legendary human gamer. And this, I speculated on what this card might be, and it is not. But we'll go on. So we got a 1/3 legendary human gamer. As Vortos, Steward of Myth enters the battlefield, choose a named magic character. We talked about this in the spoilers. So a named magic character. Each spell you cast with the chosen character in its name, flavor text, or art costs Woober, which is white, blue, black, red, green, less to cast. This effect only reduces the amount of colored mana you pay. And unfortunately, it has the acorn symbol, because this card would be way too busted in a standard set. So next up is an attraction, Gift Shop, with its visit of choose one that hasn't been chosen. Create a 1/1 red balloon creature token with flying. Create a 2/2 pink teddy bear creature token. Create 2 food tokens. You get 3 tickets, or you may put a sticker on a non-land permanent you own, with good results of 2, 3, and 6. Next up is Attempted Murder. So 2 black mana and X colorless for a sorcery that reads, choose target creature. Roll a X 6-sided dice. For each even result, put 2 plus -1/-1 counters on that creature. For each odd result, create a 1/2 bird creature token with flying named Stormcrow. Now we talked about the Stormcrow thing. It's a trope of stuff of this bird named Stormcrow. And the reason they call it attempted murder because a murder, a group of crows is called a murder. So you're going to attempt a murder of crows, or attempt to murder a creature. However that works out for you. So that's all the cards for right now. We're going to end the video here. We'll see you on the next Unfinity spoiler. 2 Unmurdered Crows and Beyond.